Fact that the first change that takes place is in your mind. You have to change your mind before you change the way you live and the way you move. So when we said that the revolution will not be televised, we were saying that that the thing that's going to change people is something that no one will ever be able to capture on film.
I've come to notice that most people have a genuine desire to improve and change their life for the better. You always hear people speak of it, contemplate it, and even try to. I mean, even the laziest person you know has at least tried in some way or fashion. And even though there's a multitude of reasons of why people don't, I think one of the biggest is the lack of progress they see being made on their journey. You see, on the surface, this is very simple, but I really want to dive deep into the layers of how progress is one of the biggest tricks of your mind in the material world. As you can see by the title, I want to ask you the question, what does progress even look like? And could you recognize it if it was in your face? Chances are the things you're thinking about are very tangible and drastic opposed to something more subtle. And because of this is why you and others get sidetracked from your goals, because you equate progress to the end goal. So when you don't see anything that resembles your end goal, you become deterred. So I ask again, do you even know what progress looks like? You may say that you know a little bit by now, but here's where it gets tricky. The vision of what you deem as progress is still jaded. Your vision of progress is still a fantasy of what would you like it to be. You created a perfect scenario in which you have a linear path of progression. But I have to break it to you. Life is not a hill, but a mountain. You see, a mountain has peaks and valleys, and in order to reach the peak, you have to change course multiple times, even go down a few times just to find a higher way up. So these roadblocks you are constantly facing are not always full-blown stops, but more of a message to reroute. So I ask again, do you know what progress even looks like? Or even better, do you think all progress is recognizable? To clarify, do you think it's possible to document and recognize all the progress that someone has made in their life? The answer is no. So with that being said, why do you think you're not making progress just because you can't see it? Before any plant arises from the ground, it has to establish its roots. So before it grows outwardly, it has to grow inwardly. The initial progress that you're making is always an inner change before you ever see it on the outside. The only time you ever saw that change was when you used to make bean sprouts in clear cups in elementary school. So imagine if the cups weren't clear. Us kids would have never believed that the sprout was growing at all. So I'll ask you one more time. Do you even know what progress looks like? You may say yes, you may say no. But here's one thing I could tell you. Progress, just like all things, is a feeling before it ever materializes. You see, the belief in your progress, the belief of the progress that you're making, is what's paramount to your success. The faith you need in yourself and in your higher power is what will guide you and align you with the promised land. As I already explained to you before, your view of progress is skewed because you're trying to be the puppet master over everything in your life. You have a very cunning and deceptive element about yourself called your ego. And that ego is doing its best to keep its agenda alive and well. It wants its idea of a path of least resistance to be followed. But what does your ego even know truly? I just broke down before how you don't know what progress looks like, so I promise you your ego doesn't know either. So there's a level of humility that you should carry with yourself, knowing that you don't know any better. But here's the thing, the ego will still do its best to trick you and keep you in a lower state of mind. But your job is to be non-reactive to your ego, because you know that there's more than what meets the eye. You are a very powerful being indeed, but you're still in a finite body. There's limits on what you're able to do, and you can't see what's the fastest path for you to get to your destination. Like imagine trying to complete a maze from a first-person perspective, or even trying to find Waldo from a first-person perspective. you would get discouraged so fast and would think that it's impossible to do this, until you realize that your higher power actually has a third person point of view and can see the path in more detail than you ever could imagine. You see, you could be infinitely closer than you think, but if you choose the ego's compass opposed to God's, your 20-minute drive can turn into an hour. So like I said, your only job is to trust in the powers that are above you and not let your eyes deceive you. This is simple, but may not be easy, and rightfully so. You have listened to your ego for so many years that to give up on it cold turkey can be rough. But give yourself some grace. You are the plant that I was referring to earlier. A little TLC is what you need to flourish and bloom into your true state of being. Progress is never linear, but that doesn't mean it can't be fast either. You need to have the faith and the grace in yourself in order to see your true colors shine in the sun. It'll be something you'll never regret doing. Peace.
I'd like to make you stay. I'd like to make you stay. If you don't know